Okay, so before moving to the practical session, I would like to ask some questions to you guys just to check whether you have understood the previous session or not. Okay, so my first question is, what is objects in Salesforce?
Tables is called the objects.
Okay. And what is application in Salesforce?
Group of objects together is an application.
Application is like a container where we can store objects.
All the objects, yeah.
Not all the objects.
Yeah, the
some
objects related to the application.
Yes. So we can add tabs there, logo, right? And we have application name. Okay. Let's see for some of the standard objects. So anyone would like to explain standard objects and what is their purpose? For example, lead. Anyone can let me know what is leads in Salesforce?
Lead is an object where the people interested in our product, we store the information about them.
Yes, correct. And what about the other object, which is account, contacts, or opportunity?
In account, you will get the information about the company, the person.
Information about the person, where we can store it?
In
Contacts.
contacts, yeah, contact.
And last object, opportunity.
Opportunities, we use opportunities to track and manage either the progress of each lead.
Yes, meaning that progress of each deals.
Each deal, yeah.
And what happens when we convert a lead in Salesforce?
Either the deal is closed or they are not closed. Two options are available.
Yes, but that is an opportunity. So when we convert a lead, first what happens? Account, contacts, and opportunity gets created in the system, and then the lead will get vanished, right? You want people to see that lead in the system, and then you can work on account, contacts, and opportunities. Okay. Right. Yeah, let me share my screen and then we'll start with the object creation. Let me know if you are able to see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for objects, we are going to create two custom objects in our system, okay, and one application, okay. So first, let's try to create the custom object. So for demo purpose, I will show, creation of one custom object, and then as a homework, okay, you can create both of the custom objects in your system, okay, and then later on we will create application. Okay. So the first object is position object. Okay, position object. Why we are creating this object? Because we want to track the positions in all stages. Okay, so let's say that you want to create an application for hiring team. Okay, so position object will have a major role, because in the position object we will have all the records for all the positions, whether it is open or closed, it doesn't matter. Okay, so when we create any position object, or when we create a record for that particular object, let's say that the open date for that particular position is today's date. Okay, and close date is after 30 days. So that particular position will be open for 1 month. Okay, so we can track all the position in all stages of the process. Okay, from open to close, or there might be some of the positions that have been filled or cancelled, right? So to track all this information, we are going to create our first custom object, which is position object. Okay, so to create the custom object, we'll have to go to the setup. So here, can you see the setup here? We need to click on this setup. Then we have another setup option over here. Click on setup. Okay. Here we have option beside home called object manager. Okay, click on object manager. So here you will find all the list of objects which are currently present in your organization. So right now I have not yet created any custom object, so you can see the type as well. All the list of objects which are currently present in the organization are all standard object. Okay, now we want to create a new object. So here we have a create button. Click on that, create on custom object. Here we will have to give all the information in order to create the object. So first thing is label. Okay, so the label will be position, and object name, which is also the API name, or we can say unique name for that particular table, is also position. Okay, now here we have to give the plural label. For example, as you can see here on this particular tab, okay, we have leads, not just lead, but we have leads, accounts, contact, campaigns, opportunities, right? So here we have to give the plural label for our tab. So that will be positions. Okay, here example is also given. If your object name is account, the plural label should be accounts. You can enter description over here. For example, this object stores okay, something like that. These objects store information about the job position at the company. Okay. Now here, this is the first, okay, information which we have to give. Then second information is regarding the record name, label, and format. So when we create a custom object, okay, name field will always be a standard field for that particular object. For example, let's say that we have a position object, and when we try to enter anything or create a new record, what will happen when we click on new button? The first thing we will see on the UI is position name, right? Where we can enter our position name. So the name field always, be a standard field, and it automatically gets created, okay, from the uh, meaning that when we create the object, we do have option over here for creating the um, field for name. Okay, so as you can see here, it has automatically taken the name as well, which is position name, and the data type as well. Okay, so we don't have to make any changes over here. Now we have some of the optional features. For example, first is allow reports, meaning that if we check this checkbox, okay, and later on, let's say after 2 months, there is a requirement, to create some reports on this particular position object, okay, so we can create reports. Otherwise, if this particular checkbox is unchecked, you won't be able to create reports on this object. So there is no, compulsion to select all these checkboxes right away here while creating the object. Okay. Later on, if you have any requirement regarding that, you can always come back to the settings of the custom object. Okay, and you can check this particular checkbox and save the record. Okay, allow reports, will tracking history, and allow activities. Allow activity means like this. If you see here for leave, okay, we have an activity tab where we have new task button, log call button, email button, right? If we don't select allow activities over here, it will, this particular object will not have those options. Okay, these are by default checked. And last thing is deployment status. So when you create any custom object, don't forget that after finishing or creating your custom object, always make it deploy. Okay, sometimes what happens, admin just select this one in development, in production, or because they want to create a new functionality, right? So that if we select here in development, then the non-admin user won't have, even though you have given access, okay, they will not be able to view this object. Okay, so once your functionality is completed, make sure that it is always deployed. Okay, this is for searching status. And last is some of the options which are only available, at the time of custom object creation. Okay, so these two options right now can, as you can see here on the page, these are only available for the object creation type, for the first type. Okay, let's say that you save this record, okay, and now you want to enable these two options from here. Okay, uh, let's take the example of first one, add notes and attachment, okay, to this particular object. Now we have saved this record, and later on, after 6 months, we have a requirement where we need to add the attachments as well to this particular position object. So you cannot come here in the object settings and enable this, because this will be vanished, this will be removed. Okay, you won't be able to see this option. Okay, so you can check this checkbox, but right now if you don't want this attachment here on the position, we can hide it from the page now. There is no issue. And second thing is here it says that launch new custom tab, okay, wizard after saving this custom object, meaning that if we save this, okay, if we select this one and if we save this, then Salesforce will automatically redirect us to creation of tab, okay, tab like this. Okay, so sometimes what happens, admins create custom object and they forget to create tabs. Okay, and let's say that they have created some applications, and in that particular application they want to add the tab for that particular custom object, but they won't be able to find that particular custom object because tab is not yet created in the system. Okay, so you can either create it from here, or let me open a setup in new pods. Okay, or we have an option for tab. You just need to search the tab option in quick find box, click on tab, and from here as well, later on you can create your tab. Okay, right now I have selected from here, so once I will save, I will be automatically redirected to this page. Okay, what happened, what I did, I just click on new button of the custom object tabs. Okay, can you see the screen? So right now I have selected that option. That's the reason once I will save it, I will be automatically redirected to this page. Okay, let me save this. Okay, can you see? We have the exact same screen. The only difference is as we launch this from object creation, we have object selected here. Otherwise, here we do not have any object selected. Okay, and I will need to refresh the screen so that it will show the position. So let's try to create our tab for position object. So object is selected as position. Here we have to select the tab style. Let's say this one. That's it. Next. Then keep the setting as it is, meaning that it says here we have two options, right? Apply one tab visibility to all the profiles, meaning that all the users who are present in your company, okay, the profile will have option access by default on this particular tab. Okay, if there is a requirement that this particular position tab should be only visible to, let's say, system administrator, okay, not for any other profile, that in that scenario what you can do, you can select this one. Okay, and from here we have to hide the tab, and it will be only default on for system administrator. Okay, so one by one you can hide it like this. Can you see? We have three options: default on, default off, and tab hidden. So if we select default on or default off, okay, user will have access in both of the scenario. Only if the tab is hidden, then user won't be able to view that particular tab. Okay, so as of now, I will select the first option, which is default off. Okay, now I have selected the first option, so you can see all the profiles is grayed out because this will be applicable to all profiles by default. Click on next and click on save. That's it. Guys, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so as you can see here now, our position object is created. Okay, and we can also see the settings for that particular object here in details. Okay, so can you see this enable reports, track activities, frequency tracking? We have enabled this while creating the object. Okay, so let's say that now we do not want to create reports. Okay, this particular checkbox is unchecked. So what you can do is you just have to go to the setup object manager, right? Search for that particular object. Okay, go to the details, click on edit, and then you will see all the other information. Okay, so let's say that I don't want this. I can anytime change the settings. Can you see this? And here also shows deployment status. Okay, now the second difference is here you can see position. For position API name is position underscore underscore C. Okay, always remember that when we create anything in the Salesforce system, we always have two types, right? One is standard and second is custom. So for the custom object, all the custom object which we create in our system or custom fields, okay, those will have underscore underscore C, okay? And from this you will be able to understand that this particular object or this particular field is custom. Okay, let me go here on object manager. As you can see, for account, do we have any underscore underscore C? No, right? Because this is a standard object. So standard object will have the same label, same API name. Okay, there is no need for underscore underscore C. But for custom object, you can see here position, it says custom object and it has underscore underscore C. Okay, now let's go to fields and relationship. Okay, so here as you can see, 4 fields are by default created by Salesforce. First is position name, which we saw while we were creating the position object. Then we have created by, last modified by, and owner field. Okay, so these fields these two fields track date and time field. Okay, real time date and time field created by and last modified by, meaning that for this particular lead we have created by and last modified by field. Okay, so it shows who has created any particular record and the date and time as well. Same goes for last modified. Okay, now let's say that if I change anything over here, okay, I make some modifications, so it will show the latest last modified date and time field and who has modified the data. Okay, so these are all standard fields. Then we have owner field. Every record will have its own owner. Okay, So here you can see lead owner. Exactly like this, we have here owner field for position as well. So when we create a record, we have by default created by, last modified by, owner and position name. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, which is fields in Salesforce. Any doubt in object creation?
No, Amrapali.
Okay,
No.
okay, great. Yeah, so let's move to the next topic, which is fields. So fields is like a custom database column, right? Where we can store the data, right? So object fields store the data of our records, and Salesforce by default provide few fields, with Salesforce. Those are called standard fields. So as you can see on the screen, while creating the custom object position, Salesforce has already created 4 fields, okay? And these are all standard fields. You can also check from their API name as well, okay? It is exactly same as the field label, okay? It does not have underscore C. Now, we cannot delete the standard fields of Salesforce, okay? As you can see, we do not have any option to delete these fields, but we can change the label of this field, okay? Let's say that instead of owner, I want position owner, okay? So I can make some changes and change the label, but I cannot delete this. You can see here, we do not have any option. For position name as well, we cannot delete this, okay? We can only edit it, but we cannot delete it, okay? But when we create a custom object, we can always delete a custom object, or sorry, custom fields in Salesforce, okay? So exactly like this, we have standard fields and custom fields. Standard fields are those fields which are provided by Salesforce itself, right? We cannot delete the standard field. We can change the label of the fields. We can always create custom fields, right? And we can delete the custom fields as well. So field creation, for each and every edition, is different. The limit of field creation. So we have different types of editions here for Salesforce object, and majorly, company uses enterprise edition. Okay. In rare cases, company uses unlimited edition, okay, wherein let's say that if their company is very big, okay, and they want to store, like big data in their system, only in that case, company choose, go for unlimited edition. Otherwise, company, which are small, moderate, medium-sized companies, they all, and sometimes large-scale companies as well, uses the enterprise edition. So, in the enterprise edition, we have the limit of field creation of 500, and in unlimited we can create up to 800 fields, okay? So let's say that this is the enterprise edition, just assume that, okay? And now a customer, sorry, for our client, we have created 500 fields, okay? And now we have requirement of creating 2 fields as well, another 2 fields. So in that scenario, you won't be able to create those 2 extra fields. What you'll have to do is, you will have to first search which fields are in use, right? Because there might be scenario that from 500 fields, there might be some fields which are not in use, okay? And you can delete those fields from the system. So once you delete those from the system, that means you are creating a space, for those two extra fields, and then later on you can create it. Otherwise, um, all the fields are in use and you do not have any other option, then you will have to upgrade your edition. Okay, so Salesforce will guide you if such scenario come up. Okay, but as of now, you just have to remember that you can create up to 500 fields. Okay, so field creation path is also same. You have to go to the object manager. Okay, search for that particular object, go to the fields and relationship, and there we have a new button. Let me show it to you from scratch. Just click on setup here, setup. Object manager. Okay. Search for the position object. Okay. So in order to search for any object here, we have a separate find box. Okay. So here I can search for object. Click on that particular object, fields and relationship, and then from this page we can create new fields. Okay, so before proceeding, with creating some of the fields, let's try to understand some of the important points of custom fields. So let's say that you have created custom fields, okay, and you have data all as well present in your organization. Now you want to change it. Let's say that we have a field. Okay, this one, it will be a good example. Industry. Okay. Now let's say that if I click on edit, okay, and if I click on this drop down, I can select one field at a time, right? I cannot select multiple fields. But later on, let's say you want to change the data type from single select, field to multi-select field, multi-select values over here. So what I want is, I want to change this field so that I will be able to select multiple values at a time. So what will happen when you change the data type, okay, of any existing custom field, then it causes data loss. So all the records which have, value in it, so for those records, you will see the data loss. Also, deleting a custom field, removes both data as well as field. So let's say that I have deleted this industry field, okay, for lead object, okay. So this particular field will not be appear over here. You won't be able to find this field in the settings as well, object settings, and the value will also remove from the UI, right? Later on, let's say that you want to store that field, okay? So custom field is stored for 15 days in recycle bin after deletion. So let's say that you have deleted this field and now you again want to restore this field, right? So you can restore it from recycle bin. Okay. So these are some of the considerations of custom field. Now let's see how we can create custom fields for position object. Okay. So first field which I want to create is status field for position. Okay. So for that, click on new button in the fields and relationship. Okay. Now here in this particular screen, we can see multiple data types. Okay. So our status field will be the single selection field, okay, exactly like the industry field, right? So what we want is, when we create a status field, we should be able to select only one value from that particular field, right? Status may be different. Let's say new position, open position, or closed field, closed, not approved, cancel, something like that. Okay, so we will create a status field which will have multiple values, and from those values the user can select only one value. So for that type of field, we have a data type called picklist here. So if you select picklist, it will allow user to select one value from the defined list. Okay, if you select this one, which is picklist multi-select, then it will allow user to select multiple values from the defined list. Okay, so we want single selection. So for that, I will select picklist. So exactly like this, we have different types of data type. As you can see here, we have text, text area, text long, right? Time, URL. Then we have checkbox field, currency, date, time, email, number, person, phone, right? Auto number. So these are all type of data for the fields. Okay, so you can always select any one data type and you can create a field. So for status field, I have selected here as picklist. Click on next. Okay, first you will have to give the uh, field label, which will be status. Now here select this second value. Okay, in values we have two options: use global picklist value set, and second is enter values with each value separated by a new line. So first option is useful. Let's say that you want to create three fields. Okay, let's say three uh, status field. Okay, and it will be similar for both three object. Okay, you are creating these same field, okay, on three different object, which will have, let's say, 100 values or 150 values, right? So in that scenario, we cannot just go ahead for each object, create a field and add values there manually, because the values um, is 100 or 150. So in that scenario, what we can do, Salesforce has given us the option to create a picklist set, okay, and with the name, let's say that status. And what happens when you go to the object manager, you just have to select this option, use global picklist value set, and there you will see your picklist value set name. Okay, you just have to select the name, and once you create a field, all the 150 field values list will show up. Okay, so it will reduce the time and effort of creating multiple values. But as of now, we do not have as such a requirement. We just want to add 2 to 3 field values, right? So first is new position. And always remember that when you give, okay, any values over here, so once the first value is completed, finishes, okay, always click on enter and start with the new line. Here also they have suggested enter value with each value separated by new line, so that we will be able to see a list like this and we will be able to select it. Okay, so first is new position. Post, let's say filled, closed, not approved. And close. Cancel. Okay. Always remember that while creating any object, any fields, okay, even if you are giving any value, always, enter the first, alphabet as capital. Okay, as you can see here, I have given the position. Sometimes what happens, okay, admins create position object and then it will be in small case. Okay, so it doesn't look good. So as the admin, you have to make sure that you are entering the correct data and it should be in correct format as well. Okay, now I will not make any changes. What I did is I just given the field name, okay, and values. That's it. Now I will just quickly scroll down, click on next. Okay, so in the next screen, Salesforce asks us for which particular profile you want to give the access. Okay, let's say that I want all the profiles should have access to the status field. Then I will select this visible checkbox and it will be visible for all the users. Okay, by default, Salesforce has selected this one. Let's say that you do not want to give access to all the profiles and you only want to give access to two profiles, which is system administrator and standard user. Okay, so you can uncheck this check boxes and only check for two profiles. Then only two profiles will have access to it. Okay, as of now, I will not make any changes over here. I will just scroll down and click on next. Okay, and next screen is it will automatically add to the position layout. Now, okay, let's say that I want to create 8 to 10 fields. So in that scenario, I will always click on save and new so that the data type field will appear. Okay, again and again, once we click on save and new, okay, once the one field is completed, okay, we can create another field. Okay, so in this way, let me just click on save. In this way, you can create a field in any object. As you can see here, we have created status and the field name is showing as status __ C, right? As I mentioned earlier, all the custom object fields will end with __ C. Okay. So this is the demo of field creation. We will give you the assignment for creating position object as well as 5 to 6 fields. So in that assignment, we have also given the data type as well. Okay, data type, and let's say that if you have to create any picklist type of field, okay, a drop down type of field. So what should be the values for those fields as well? We have given in the assignment. So we will share those assignment with you, and we will also share the assignment to create the another object, okay, which is candidate object, okay, and for field creation of candidate object. So you can try creating this on your own in your developer org, and if you have any questions or concern, okay, later on in the next session we can see if you are not able to complete the assignment. Okay, is there any question?
So, hi, Amrapali. So we created the status and so you type that status C and pick list. So can you show me that pick list?
Right now, I can show it to you from the backend. Let's see here. Okay, let me just refresh the page first. You want to see it on the UI, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is the position object, okay, and from here user can create new record. So if I click on new, okay, I will have this option, position name. System will by default take the owner, okay. Here we have status and created by and last modified by will system will by default take the values and it will show it on the page layout. So I can enter position name, let's say Salesforce position, and status is like this. It's a drop down field, exactly like the industry where we have these options: new position, pending approval, open approved, closed failed, closed not approved, closed cancel. Okay, and as of now, we do not have so many fields created in the system and added to the page layout. Okay, that's the reason we can see only these three fields. Okay, is there any other question?
No, thank you. Okay, let me stop the screen sharing then. Yeah, so that's it for today. We will share the assignment with you guys, okay? And while creating any custom object and custom field, if you feel like you are not able to, create it, or you have forgot some of the steps, so you can always check this video as well, okay? Recording. Okay, then that's it for today.
Thank
See you
you.
in the next.
Thank you.
Bye.
Can you send the direct link for this recording on the chat? Like the previous
No.
two I missed actually.
You can always go to the sheet where Devendra has given you the access, and from there the link is already updated. You just have to go there and search for that link, and
So that
you
is
can,
link, right?
yes.
Okay.
The link is already updated there, right? And once the link is updated, Devendra also updates us on the group as well, Salesforce admin training group. So for previous, the recording is there. You can check the recording from there.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Bye. Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Just a minute. Sorry. Excuse me, are you there?
Yes.
Can you just explain me once again about the deployment and development? So what is the deployment and development while creating the object?
In development, meaning that as an admin, you are creating that custom object, right? So if you
Yes.
select in development, okay, and
Okay.
even though you have given access to your non-admin users, your users won't be able to view that particular
Okay.
position. Okay, let me share my screen. As you can see here, as an admin, I can see position object over there. Okay, but if it is in development, okay, and let's say that your profile is standard user, you are a non-admin user, and I have created this one. Okay, the status is in development. Okay, and I have given you access. So even though I have given you access, you won't be able to access that particular tab.
Okay, for that, once it is completed, all the fields are completed, all other information are completed, and now this particular object is ready to be used. Okay, in that scenario, we will just come here and change the deployment status from in development to deploy. Okay, and then you will have access, and you will be able to create the records for that particular object.
Okay. So when it is in development, the other non-admins cannot view the
Yes,
object.
yes,
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Got it. Thank you so
no
much.
problem. Okay. Is there any other
Bye.
question? No, right. Okay. Bye.